whatnot, they are posting a huge amount of bad content, bad malware, right? Sites, for example, you go to a news site like CNN.com, there are so many ads over there, so many active JavaScript components which could be hosting something bad, and if the user clicks on them, they are necessarily inviting trouble. What we are seeing is, the cyber threat, obviously everybody knows this, no point in reiterating the kind of numbers, but it is growing hugely, and not only in terms of number of incidents, etc., but also the variety of it. Think about a software supply chain attack. Think about what we saw through SolarWinds, Kaseya, Log4j. I mean, in my 30 years of IT experience, I have not heard about software supply chain. Software on which you have depended all your life, right? And suppose you are downloading a kind of a patch from that company, and if the patch itself is trojanized, what do you do about it? So the flip side to going digital is risk, because the more you go digital, the more you go on internet, the more you go on cloud, your public presence is increasing. The number of public IPs which you have, which is those to the internet, is increasing day by day. Even our DMCs, forget about public cloud, in our DMC, Internet Data Center, we have got so many applications today which are actually public exposed. You have to do that. Think about a bank, right? Doing API banking. Think about a manufacturing company doing just-in-time, say, supply chain and logistics, right? They have to necessarily connect with a large ecosystem through API, largely on the internet. Which means you do that part, but you're inviting trouble because the bad guys can see you. So, in this holy mess of convoluted networks, applications everywhere, users everywhere, change of style of using computing, change of style of doing digital business, the current network and security architecture is often not matching up and creating complexities. Let's talk about a typical kill chain, how companies get infiltrated, how companies get, let's say, ransomware, how companies end up losing data. This actually very much correlates to physical warfare. In fact, Lockheed Martin invented this as a kill chain, cyber kill chain. And we have boiled it down to just 4 basic, kind of stages. The first being, how much can they find about you? Let me give a kind of customer analogy, okay? Let's say I go for a holiday to Australia for a couple of weeks with my family. And the first day itself I kind of put up on Facebook, hey, I'm in sunny Australia, look at me, enjoying myself, okay? The attackers know that there's nobody at home. And there could possibly a way to come and then steal your goods. Same thing happens for enterprise. The more you are visible in the public internet, maybe you are kind of running applications, stacks, operating systems. It's very difficult to patch and keep things updated on a day-to-day basis. There would be vulnerabilities, there would be gaps. And if they find that, they can exploit that. Secondly, we have a hybrid style of working. Post-COVID, still it's not that every user comes to office every day. Maybe they are rostering between home and office. 3 days at home, 2 days in office, vice versa. Which means when I'm at home, I don't have the security which I have in office, right? But I'm accessing applications, I'm browsing, I'm going to SaaS applications. I may download something mischievous. And if I bring the laptop back to office the next day, there could be potential danger of having that infection, coming to the office network, right? And then propagating. So, how much you're exposed today on the internet is your attack surface. And there has to be a way in which you have it under control. It's very difficult. With AI, Gen AI, public cloud, it's getting more difficult day by day. Second, the compromise, the initial compromise. Attackers will always go after the weakest link. Also, one of the days when you have to be a class A coder, to be a good attacker, okay? Today, ransomware, or buying ransomware tools, or maybe already phish credentials, is just like buying stuff on the internet, on an e-commerce platform. So ransomware as a service is very much there among us. So for maybe cents to a dollar, the attacker can kind of create a very, very defined target campaign against your enterprise. Okay? So you got to kind of be aware about that, protect all the weak links, have good security, endpoint security, network security, all of that. Third stage is, what are corporate networks? They are largely very flat in nature. It's like a highway system, which is connecting destinations very seamlessly without having too much of checkposts. You can put in some firewalls, you can think about micro-segmentation, but creating these kind of barriers at, let's say, a network layer, at a layer 3 of the OSI stack, which means you're only building rules on maybe source IP, destination IP, ports, protocols. Who understands that? Who understands my IP address? What exactly it is? Is it a NAS drive? Is it a CRM system? Is it my SAP? Is it my domain controller? Only your system admin will know that, right? However, today it's very important that you build segmentation rules at layer 7, at an identity layer. Which group of users connected to what group of application? Using least privilege as principles. And fourth is, what are the attackers trying to get to? They're trying to get to your data, because that's the holy grail, right? In Zscaler, for example, we run the threat labs and we look at huge amounts of traffic, about 360 billion transactions on a daily basis. And through the telemetry, we can understand source and destination of bad things. One of the trends we see nowadays is encryption-less ransomware, which means they don't want to encrypt you or disguise your operations. They just want to steal your data. Name and shell you on internet, sell your data, etc. Right? So that's where things are going to. What is our position? So back in the day, we are about a 50-year-old company. 2007, when the founder started it, they had this vision that soon there will be a day when companies can get computing and application business process part, as rentable assets from the internet, let's say from cloud. The founders used a lot of, let's say Salesforce, NetSuite in the early days, right? And second is, users should have the mobility to be anywhere. They shouldn't be kind of, in fixed location like offices. Can we have a Starbucks like office today, right? With the same security. So to do that, then what about security? If users are everywhere, applications are everywhere, I have to have a connectivity and a security technology which is all pervasive. It can found very close to where the source and destination of the traffic is. That's what we build painstakingly, and it's also a lot of use cases. And some of the cardinal parts about zero trust. What does zero trust say? You should always think that there is a breach which has already happened. Okay? You cannot trust anybody implicitly. Everybody for every session, have to have or prove their trust to get access. Eliminating attack surface. Don't go to Australia and talk all about it, right? Keep a little things hidden. That would improve your risk posture. Secondly, don't connect things just on a, let's say, what does a firewall do? It looks at selective bytes of data. We are a full-fledged proxy architecture, which means we can look at 100% encrypted content, every packet, and know what is good, what is bad, flowing through a wire, and take out source. Apart from good security, because we connect users to destinations in the least path with least friction, we also get a very happy outcome of good, agile access, right? So typically your maybe in Office 365 performance, you can easily expect a 30-40% bump in productivity. And also things makes life simpler, so that it is easy for IT to own, operate, manage, govern security and network infrastructure. Of course, we are not the whole and soul in zero trust security. We do connect with a lot of other parts. On an average, we see that a company today has about maybe 30-40 technology on security alone, right? I think going forward, it will be only 3 or 4 platforms, endpoint platforms, cloud platforms, maybe data protection platforms, etc. We should work in tandem through APIs. So there's nothing like siloed stuff. I'm rushing because the clock is